Hello, welcome. My name is Chris Graham, and I am so humbled and proud to be able to say that I will be the host of this new series, Filmmaker on Filmmaker. The idea came from, obviously wanting to talk to other filmmakers and me being a filmmaker myself, as you can tell from my little hat thing I got going over here. That's one thing that I try to do with my films is every film that I have, I try to get a hat made custom for it. So you can see three of them right there, and others are on the way. I'm really grateful and so blessed to be able to actually do this and have people interested in wanting to come on here and talk about who they are, their processes, even their favorite films and what got them into film. That's kind of the goal of this is we always see interviews of people who have made it. I want to get into the brains of people and the minds and the journeys of people who are on their way to making it. I love just talking about film, love being in film. It's nice to actually get to talk to other people and other visionaries, other creatives, and see their process and who they are deep down. Lots of times filmmakers, a lot of the dark filmmakers are actually the happiest people, and a lot of the comedic filmmakers are actually the darkest people, but you never know because by their work. So I like to dive deep into who they are truly as a person. And I am very extremely honored that the first guest of this new series is somebody that I really love talking to and collaborating with, even if it is all behind the scenes. I've been wanting to work on lots of things with him. I haven't really had the opportunity yet because of our schedules always being different, but there is something up on my channel called Senacasa that he helped narrate and kind of helped me like craft, and that was like our first real collaboration thing, and it was so easy, it was so smooth, and I was like, you know what, I can't wait to actually do something hands-on where we're both taking the helm of something. And we've had all these ideas, we've talked about a bunch of ideas forever, of things that we want to do, but I'm so glad that I feel like this year a lot is going to change and we actually will be able to work together on something. But that being said, this is a guy who has a lot of creativity. He knows his stuff. He if he's not talking about film, he's talking about self-health and bettering himself, and it's always positive thinking, and it's a person that you would love to go to in times of crisis, in times of not knowing, like if you have a film idea and you don't really know. He's great to bounce things off of, and overall he's just like a really good friend and a really good filmmaker. The goal for this series is to interview and connect with filmmakers, and not just like directors and producers or writers or actors, but also people who do like hair and makeup and like grips and background actors and gaffers, anything on a film set, ADs. And I'm totally open. I don't have like a whole list of people I'm gonna go down. Like if you want to get on here and talk and let's get interviewed, comment, or if you know me on social medias, other social medias like Instagram, or even if you have my number, just text me, and I'm sure we can set something up, and I would love to. And everybody has a story to tell, so there's nobody too small in this industry. Even if you just started yesterday, I would love to interview you. If you've been in here for 60 years, I'd love to interview you also, because it's more than just me finding out who you are, or you getting to tell your story and be seen, but you might change somebody's lives, or somebody might have these thoughts about acting, and you can kind of give them something that's not really gate kept. You can give them some actual knowledge that might be beneficial to them. All right, Q. I appreciate you for joining me. To
Thank
get
you. Thank
started, I
you.
guess we should learn a little bit more about you from your words and not mine.
My name is Q. I go by Quanell, or you call me Q the actor, which is my Instagram name, my YouTube page. I'm an actor. I've been doing acting since middle school, or maybe before that, but I did it in middle school, sixth grade. I did drama, and then I did theater in high school, and I just love acting since. It's been like my soulmate. That's pretty much about me.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we both come from that background of doing it since we were way younger up until now.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. That's really cool. Um, so obviously you're a writer, you're an actor, you're also a director, and you've done a lot. But I kind of want to just stay on talking about The Killer just for this specific interview. I
Yeah.
mean, we could touch on other stuff that you've done too, because all of it kind of culminated into you, The Killer. It's like we get better and better as we go along.
Yeah.
Um, but the main reason I want to talk about The Killer is we didn't even plan this, but we both had films come out the same week. Yours came out earlier in the week. Mine was supposed to come out like a month before it actually came out, but things happen, and they both kind
Yeah.
of involve the same like murdering and killing, and it's so funny
Yeah.
when you think about it. We didn't even plan that, but it just happened.
At the same time, great minds think alike.
Exactly, it was that time for it. We both did it way after Halloween. That would have been the time to release it, but
I know. That's why I wanted to do it. Like, I want to do it before Halloween, but things happened, so I said, okay.
yeah, that's fair. We were shooting a Christmas film before Halloween, so we tried to get it out before Christmas, but it was
Oh
awkward.
yeah.
Everyone's walking around in costumes, and we're just Santa Claus.
Well, you like, oh snap.
Right, right. Jumping into the conversation, I guess I would. You kind of talked a little bit about what you did in your past and how that kind of ignited your passion from middle school all the way up through high school, and now we're both in our 20s. Um, what who would you say in your personal life, so not like film icons or anybody, in your personal life, really kind of was that driving force for you in um towards acting and just filmmaking or cinema?
I'm gonna say it was mostly my grandma, my grandpa, because I used to watch like tons of movies with them when I was a kid. So they kind of drove me towards that lane of you like movies so much, why don't you just try doing acting? My mom as well. My mom, she always told me that I'm like photogenic. I'm not scared of nothing. I could just go on stage and just probably make people laugh. Um,
Yeah,
I'll say those three people in my life has really inspired me. After my grandpa passed, I was young. I want to say 2014 he passed. Um, it hurt me, but I know that he'll be proud of me because I'm continue doing what he wanted me to do and just push forward. So I'm
yeah.
very excited that I got to experience that watching movies with them growing up and just they still have them with me here. So that's pretty.
That's powerful. I really like that. No, that's a really good answer. Yeah, it's so crazy how we feel lots of times whenever other people pass on that like meant so much to us, and those little moments that like the specific things like with you films, or other people who might be cooking with their loved ones or whatever. It's so
Yeah,
cool that we could feel so kind of like cathartic, continuing on doing what we love doing with them. I think that's
yeah.
beautiful. Now, since we kind of talked about and touched on personal life, who outside of personal life, like more film icons, A-list actors or whatever, Hollywood actors, would you say are some driving forces? It could be more than one. I don't want to make you think of just one
You like
if you don't want to.
that like inspires me or just I have a lot. I'm gonna give you probably four. I'm gonna say
Okay.
for one, Denzel, Tom Hardy, um, yeah, okay, Meryl Streep, Jodie Foster, and then I'm gonna say Marlon Brando. That's my driving force of actors. I got more, but I'm just gonna
Yeah.
keep that list.
Right,
That's
right.
those are the people that drives me to be great at what I love doing, and just what they bring to the screen in each movie and each character they do. It just inspires me to just say, hopefully, I get to do that. So that's like my goal.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And they really are icons. I feel like if you ask a bunch of people like outside of really acting, they might be like, "Oh, Tom Holland," or
Oh
other people who are a little
yeah,
younger, and I can understand
yeah,
that, but it's nice to see the age of the people that you just mentioned,
Yeah.
because that really shows you you're we first of all we've been doing this for a while, so we have our inspirations are going to be older people, but
Older
also
people.
what they meant, what Denzel means to the film industry for like black, I was gonna say black males, but just black people in general, women,
Yeah.
kids, um, and all of them have like really different styles.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
like.
right. And I like that too, that it's not one-sided. It's not
It's
like just,
all
oh, a bunch
like
of Marvel actors or not even just a bunch of men either. You threw Meryl
it's
Streep in there and Jodie Foster, and I was like, oh, okay. That I think that's cool. I think that's really cool.
yeah. That's I'm probably the first person I probably said that. Like Jodie Foster, Meryl Streep. But yeah, I love watching them in movies. Those are like my two favorite female actresses. And I'll probably throw in another female actress like back in the day, but I can't name her because she's on tip of my tongue, but I don't want to say her name wrong. But those are the two
Oh, okay, I
ladies.
got you.
Those are two ladies that really just came to my mind that I like watching.
No, that's really cool. And I feel like as an actor, that's great, but also as a filmmaker, as a writer and director, having female inspirations also could be really strong.
Yeah,
Helps when you're writing female characters or because I know I have trouble with that. After I did my first film, Headlocked, which was me and this other guy, big burly guy. I made a short film that was just straight girls. There's like five girls as the main characters.
Exactly. It's a full day filled with endless possibilities. And with the party happening tonight, I wanted to get the festivities started early. By running, by meeting up, and by getting cardio out of the way. You all didn't have to come.
Well, we wanted to have your back, and we didn't want you to leave you alone, with your whole breakup with Chris like a week ago.
Yeah. I wanted to let you know, we hit that guy too.
Oh, she speaks.
Y'all know I'm not that social this early in the morning.
It's 7:15.
The main characters, and it was like
oh
trying
my.
to work with women, like female dialogue, what they go through in college. It was like
It-
I was kind of just scratching my head a little bit, but luckily
like
I do have female friends who I could like talk to, and they would be like,
yeah.
"Oh, if it was me, I would say this." Those same females are the ones I casted in it too. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. I love writing female characters now because I get to explore with them. I get to say, okay, I can see her going like deep into this character. She's gonna be in like a trauma or just playing around with the character is kind of fun. And then having a actress that could really like do it, nail it is like, okay,
yeah,
now
it's
we talking.
fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yes.
I'm Jasmine.
Nice to meet you, Jasmine.
Nice to meet you.
So I saw you were moving in.
Yeah. Today's
Okay.
actually my first day, so
Really? How are you loving the neighborhood?
today's my first day. So.
Okay. Oh, is your husband?
He's
not gonna help you move, or?
Husband.
Oh, you don't have a husband?
No.
Really? But you're so pretty.
Thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're like very pretty. How can you not have a husband?
Thank you.
You don't have any kids or any pets?
Nope, it's just me by myself.
Oh man, so you're single.
Yeah.
Do you want a boyfriend? I'm just messing with you.
Yes.
I think we're really blessed to meet such talented people. Um, I mean, since I've been in Oklahoma the past 2 years, I've seen people who just started out acting, and it's kind of cool seeing them grow, but also people who
Yeah.
were doing it before I got here and also seeing their journey. Um, it's that's why I want to strive if I ever like make it big in Hollywood or whatever to let these people who are down here in Oklahoma or other like Connecticut, I don't know, that's just a random
Yeah.
state that popped in my brain. Like, let's get some stars from there because there are stars there. We can't just keep
That's
recycling the same
yeah.
people over
Think
and over again. We need,
yes.
everyone needs their chance to shine, and it can give you something
That's
new.
true. Yeah, that's true. I think it's time to do like refresh the whole thing, bring new faces in. And that's kind of what I want to do too with here in South Carolina is just try to bring people that don't get seen or people don't know about and bring them on to my film and be like, oh snap, like he's a great actor or she's a great actress. So I definitely agree with you saying like let's bring new faces in.
Absolutely, 100%. Um, so I actually wrote a portion down or a little bullet point down here, talking about how we met, and it's kind of a crazy story if you think about it. I know that we were on the same like San Antonio Facebook
Yeah.
actors page, and that's kind of how we met. And you posted more than that. I really didn't post that much on there because I mean, because you're from, you've been there longer,
Yeah.
and I was just
I-
there for college. Um, and so I was kind of more like nervous about stuff, but I was like, this guy's always posting. He's always got stuff going
yeah.
on. We kind of friended each other from there, which I thought was really
Yeah.
cool. And we still, it's not like we just started talking. It like months and months and months would go by. And then finally I'm like,
Really,
hey, this, or you'd be like, hey, this. And then now here we are. That was like end of
um,
2021, early
I think
2022. And
like,
now we're in 2025 and we're just
dang,
grinding, get some
just in
projects under
grind
our belt
mode.
together and everything. I think I just wanted to put that out there and just say, like, for people who are scared about like networking, like networking is going to be your best friend. It's like a superpower because
I agree.
I mean, here we
Especially in
are
this
now.
industry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially in this industry, the network is like the biggest thing. You just got to go out and just meet people, or Facebook, like you said, or, just be like, hey, let's do something. Let's hang out. Let's film. Or, just Facebook have it to where you can find a group now. So it should be easier for new upcomers that want to just, participate.
right, 100%. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's like a superpower, and it's more than just like Facebook and like groups like that. It's also acting classes. You never
That's
know.
true. Yes.
Um,
Acting class.
Acting class is the only reason Headlocked is out there because that's how I met everybody who was involved with it. Um, so it's a very powerful tool. Um,
Agree.
but yeah, I just wanted to talk about our past a little bit and how
Oh, yeah.
that it's beneficial for us and it's great to, but it's also like a story to tell people, like, just go out there. All it takes is you making one person, meeting one person, and
That's all.
it's gross.
That's all it takes.
So jumping into the killer,
Yeah.
I have some questions that I wrote down, but um I was just stop before I press record. I was wondering if we should do like spoilers or non-spoilers stuff, but I feel like it they've been out there since last year, both our films. So
Yeah.
like let's just go ahead and say
Just, just
what's going on.
giving
Don't
the
hold back
beans.
any answers. But I wanted to hear from you since you co-directed this, and you wrote it also.
Hmm.
So you're the perfect person and I'll also starred in it, so you're involved in like every aspect.
Ever.
Um, I was gonna ask if you would like to talk a little bit about the synopsis or the plot.
Oh, yeah. So the killer came to me from watching The Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. I kind of want to give it that type of vibe. It's about two homicide detectives looking for this killer that just been going around killing people. And these two seasoned detectives, me and a good friend of mine is here named Vin, we both killed them characters. We did it. And I love playing detective, so I said, okay, he was a perfect guy. But it's about a killer, going around killing people. So we was like, hold on, let's put this guy down. It was fun writing it, and it was just fun being on set with those guys and just being like, hey, let's do it this way, or hey, let's change the vision up on set and let's try to do it like this with the camera angle. So it was definitely fun.
That's I'm glad you brought up the camera angle. That's one of the things I want to talk about also, is it feels unsettling, and like I mean that in a positive way, but you're right from the first shot of it's like the kind of like a worm's eye view shot.
Yeah.
Um and it's like you're already like, oh, okay. And it's that's the cool thing about the camera is if we're showing you something on camera, it's for a reason. So
For a
it's
reason.
pointing up for a reason. And I was like, that's a strong choice because most people like to start off something with a master shot or a wide shot, and then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, we're already in here, and I thought that was I like that direction of the already starting
Thank
off
you.
in the unsettling field.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah, man.
So yeah, the director named Bradley, he's a great guy, great director. He's always like on the go. So he was like, "Hey, how about we start off with him walking, the camera's like behind him." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you know what? I like it like that. Let's just start off like that." And boom, and people love that camera angle with the guy just talking on the
Oh
phone.
yeah.
The camera's like following behind him because you don't know like who's behind him, what's in front of him. So it was kind of
Right,
cool doing that.
exactly. Yeah, that's another thing about like tracking shots. They're very whenever they're used right, that's great. Um,
Yeah,
not to go off topic, but like The Last of Us, the show. I mean, obviously it draws inspiration from the game, but when they use tracking shots, it like feels like a video game, and it
yeah, it's
also
like
feels unsettling. Because that's how I know how I am in video games. So I'll be playing, and it's tracking with me. I'm like, I'm trying to turn
oh yeah,
around. I'm like, I don't
I'm
like
like,
this.
hold
Something,
up. I'm like,
especially
hold on,
Call
I
of
don't know
Duty or
what.
something.
Yeah, I was like, hold on, I can't see. It was like, yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying. That's kind of it gives you Last of Us does give you that tracking feeling like, okay, I'm trying to
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think that's really. I mean, we could sit here and talk about shots all day, but
all
we
day.
gotta keep on going. But no, that is something I noticed. Um, so whenever you wrote it, did you always plan on like casting yourself in it, or was it like, oh, let's have a casting call? Oh, nobody's really meeting the expectations.
Um, I wanted to cast somebody, but then I said, you know what? Let me play a detective character. Let me put that in my resume, so I can say I play a detective and
Mhm.
I did the best I can with that character. But I definitely tried to, but nobody would ever like come to the test. Nobody would ever say, "Hey, let me audition," or "Let's do this." So I said, you know what? I'm gonna play the character, and we just go from there.
And it worked. It really
And
worked.
it worked. Thank you.
You opposite of Vin. I like that. I like the dynamic, the chemistry, and what y'all met maybe only a couple months ago.
A couple of months ago, I want to say we met like maybe like July, August, and just clicked like
Dang.
that from the moment, texting through Messenger. But then when we got on set that day, we just clicked like that. It's like dang, like it's like I knew him for like 2 years or something. But
Yeah,
he's a cool guy, and he brought his A game on that film.
that's fantastic. Yeah, no, he definitely menacing. And that's another thing. You could tell he's more seasoned, you're more younger, but
Yeah,
it gives the professional feel from both of y'all. Like y'all know what y'all are doing, and that also adds to the story. It's not really Men in Black where you have the seasoned
no,
guy and then someone who's goofy. It's both of y'all are just like, oh,
serious, like
this happens all the time, you know. That's kind of how like Tommy Lee Jones was in Men in Black. He was very no
yeah,
nonsense, just like chill, because happens every day. And Will Smith is oh my gosh, you know. But in y'all's, it very felt like I can't even think of an analogy at the moment, but just y'all see this stuff all the time, and that's even more unsettling to the audience is like, what are we about to see? Because they're not
yeah.
unfazed, and I think there's a sequel that should be written. You know, there's definitely more places to go with
Uh,
that. So,
I will say there is a sequel. I actually just finished the sequel script. I didn't want to
oh,
post on
nice.
Facebook yet, so I'm waiting until maybe like next year to post it and say, "Hey, Bring the Killer back." So who's down? But there definitely is going to be a sequel to it.
Oh, nice. That's dope. I mean, yeah, it definitely deserves one.
Yeah,
um. So you've written lots of scripts, and I've had the pleasure of reading some of them before they were even shot. I don't think I read this one before. I don't think I read this one before you made it. Um, but I was going to ask you, what was probably the most challenging part of this script when you're writing it? Because I know for me, when I'm writing something and I know 100% I'm going to make it, I want to make it so grounded that like I can actually do it on my budget.
yeah,
With yours, it seems pretty straightforward with the script. But writer has their challenges. Was there like a bunch of grand ideas that you had to cut back, or was it
Oh
really
yeah,
what you wrote in the first place?
I had to cut back a lot of stuff. I had to rewrite because I couldn't get the locations. Everybody was kind of booked with the locations. I had the first part of the script was me having a shot inside a house with two people covered in blood, putting his body in the closet, stuff like that. So I kind of was like, oh man, I want to go this way. But if I have to cut it out, that's okay. It's no big
Yeah.
deal. But just cutting out a lot of good parts that probably would have people would have loved. It hurt me, but that was probably one of the challenges that I'll say.
And as much as it hurts, it probably made the film stronger, just
Yeah,
keeping it that way.
just keeping it simple like that. So I'm kind of glad I wrote it just like the way it is on YouTube.
Yeah, lots of times those actually turn out to be more positive than negative whenever we can't have our exact vision. Because I know with Bloodshed, I wanted at first it's a 13-minute long short film. But I wanted it to all be shot in a one shot, and that ended up not really being the case, which was great because it would have because we had some other complications rise up. And then I was like, I don't really want too many cuts. I want the tension to build up. There were some
Yeah,
times where I wanted to cut to the guard who's sitting outside of the room, but I feel like it doesn't really, I don't want to cut the tension between the two actresses in the room.
yeah.
So there was a lot of like, but I'm literally been on her for 5 minutes. I need to cut to something, and I don't want to just keep cutting back and forth, cutting back and forth, back and
Yeah.
forth. So I actually found a lot of cool angles and like some different imagery I could use, and that didn't come until I was in the editing room. So when you're recording and you're on set and you're doing everything, you're thinking, okay, this is how it's gonna be. Y'all did great. That's amazing. That's how it's gonna be. Then you get to the
And then
editing
when
room and
you
you're like, oh no.
yeah, let me change it up. Yeah.
I
Speaking of your project, I gotta say those two actors did their thing. I mean they killed their roles. I'm like, oh
yeah,
my gosh. So I give you that. That was your film was
I appreciate
marvelous,
that.
and especially toward the ending, everything just started coming crazy. I was like, oh snap. Yeah, your film was very good. I definitely gotta say that was good.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a headache, but I mean, every film is,
Yeah,
always the good
every
headaches, but headaches nonetheless.
that's
Because
true.
when you're acting, it's like you're not involved really, like as an actor, not like director or whatever. If I was just acting in this, I'm not really involved in the pre-production. I'm involved in production, and then I'm not involved
Yeah.
in post-production. So you just show up, you act, you go home. But whenever you're directing, you're kind of there from the beginning,
To
middle,
the
the end, and it's like,
yeah,
but that's also good because if
yeah,
I was the director, but I wasn't in the post-production, I would have never came up with the ideas of, oh, let's cut here and do this. And I think that's another strength with it being me being in every facet of it because it feels like a Chris Graham film. It's not like
yeah.
all over the place. And I think that's what makes film so strong is whenever you have someone who's dedicated to what's on the page, but also willing
And
to, yeah, do something different whenever the occasion arises.
I definitely agree that yeah, your film was good. It was good.
I appreciate that. Those actresses, they're phenomenal. I knew one of them. I wanted her, the woman who played Stephanie. I knew I wanted her from the get go. And then the other lady, I never truly got to see her act before, but
Yeah,
whenever I actually had her audition. I never had people audition, but it's because I knew she could probably do it, but I needed validation for myself in the script. I needed to hear somebody else read it because I'm reading it in my tone as Chris Graham, but as a director, you also have to, and a writer, you have to trust the actors to give their spin on it. And when she read
yeah,
it the way that she did, I mean,
yeah.
one day
She
I'm gonna have to go back and find the audition and just post it or make her post it or something. It's phenomenal. I was like jaw on the floor. It's like let's start shooting
yeah.
now.
2 minutes, Crystal.
You told me you believed I don't belong here.
Oh, Crystal, you don't. You belong in hell. Two minutes, Crystal. Bring me comfort.
I can imagine how she did in auditions. I know she killed it, but just bringing that to the screen, to the camera, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
she did a thing with that. I definitely
It
give her
was
flowers.
it was interesting because I've never, like I said, I don't really have people audition. So I was like,
Mhm.
what what do I cut out to make her do for the audition? Because there's a lot of good lines, but I didn't want it to feel very flat. Like I didn't want to start in the middle of their conversation, but I didn't want to start from the beginning. Definitely didn't want to start from to like the end because she's dead. But I just wanted to find out what exactly I needed her to put on tape so I could see. And I believe we kind of got from the beginning, um, before she sits down in the chair, she's kind of having that back and forth with Stephanie.
Yeah,
Um, and she's kind of like, I wrote in the script that she has tics and stuff, because it's like she's in a mental institution and she's kind of not well. And she did those beautifully. Like
yeah, she did
I
that.
totally forgot I wrote it in the script. I was like, dang, that's a good choice. I can't believe she's doing that. And then I was like, oh shoot, I wrote that. Of course she's doing that.
Yeah,
But
she
that's how
did a thing
believable
for
it
that.
was. That's how believable it was. And I thought that was, I mean, not to like totally turn the conversation and talk about her and the other
Yeah.
actress, but that's just a little bit of the stories I had with them.
Mhm.
So I was gonna ask you, what about this film is different from your other films?
I'm gonna say the killer different from other films is me going into thriller, the thriller lane. Cause I never did a thriller like this. I never did like a type of killer detective type of thing. I mostly did like a murder mystery or western, playing Spider-Man, and just trying something different.
Yeah,
It was a fun ride. Just saying, let me step out of this lane I'm known as and step into a new lane, which is thriller. I love it. I love writing more thriller scripts. It's more fun because you get to really like bring the intense into it. So get
yeah,
people like, oh snap. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, I like that answer. What about it? I know this is kind of what you already just said and answered, but I guess we can narrow down what's something or like probably the top thing about this script that you really wanted to convey in here. Something that's like I said, we already talked like the differences, but what was probably like the number one most vocal thing that you can say when you had the idea like, oh shoot, I need to do this.
I'm gonna say it's a tough one.
I mean, it could be like a line of dialogue or a specific shot or
I'm gonna say a camera shot um did it for me. We we did this actual shot in the film where the camera's like kind of pan over you can see the dead body's guide and we come out. That's probably like one of my favorites. So I could
yeah,
say
that's kind
that.
of like that shot too.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. So I say that.
It adds to the unsettlingness too. And like I said, y'all did pretty well. Y'all did really good at like a bunch of the angles and the unsettling feeling. I know that question kind of seemed like the question before, but I wanted to at
No,
least try and get as specific as possible. So for people who watch it, they can kind of also challenge themselves because I think that's one of the biggest reasons we're doing this is so people can challenge themselves and also learn how we're doing it. We're two just guys just grabbing cameras and shooting things, and
and
we're
just
having a whole
yep.
conversation about it. So
Hey, anybody could do it. They put their mind to it.
absolutely 100%. I mean, and that's one thing I try to tell people that now, especially when I got here 2 years ago, I was still, I mean, I was 19. I was considered more the younger in my acting class and stuff like that. But then now you're starting to get the kids who were like in the youth classes, they're moving up to like the adult classes, or people coming going to college at OU,
Yeah,
who like, oh, let me take acting classes here. And it's kind of cool seeing like the younger people who I could also just be like, because when we did Headlocked, actually a lot more people were interested in it than I thought they were going to be. And I'm like, oh, me, Chris Graham, I'm actually generating that kind of buzz. I thought that was really cool, but I felt like imposter syndrome at certain
yeah,
times, and especially when it came to editing, it took me forever in the editing room because like everyone's gonna watch this. They're gonna see me blink right here, and it was just like the
yeah,
meticulous kind of editor. It wasn't until like I had conversations with the cast and crew about the film, and how I was editing it, that I kind of felt calm because they were like, "Oh, well, we trust your instinct," and kind of building me up. And I was like, you know what? You're right. This is what I am here for. I'm here to just give it my all, but not be perfect. Do it in a way only Chris Graham can. Don't be like, oh, I need to shoot this like Tarantino, because you're not.
yeah,
You're Chris Graham, um, and you'll fail. Because if you do try to shoot it like Tarantino and you fail, that's gonna hurt you a lot.
yeah. It's gonna,
But if you just shoot it the way that you want to shoot it, I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be the most groundbreaking thing ever. People are still gonna like it. Sometimes simplicity is bliss. And you can do something that Tarantino can't. How about that? How about you think
yeah,
about
yeah,
that?
yeah. How about that? I agree with you.
That yeah, that's actually I have one more question I wanted to ask. I know we're running out of time or whatever, but I was gonna ask you, what do you want people to know about you from this film? Like for me with Bloodshed, I wanted people to know that I'm willing to go there. There's themes of murder, which I've never really, I mean, I kind of touched on that in another project, but there's like you actually see blood. You actually there's a story that Stephanie's telling about how her little sister got murdered, and she's not just like she's not like, oh, my little sister, she's gone now in heaven. No, she literally is like, my sister was found dead in a pool of her own blood, and they talk about how old she is. She's very, very, very young, you know, and so I'm like, want people to know I'm willing to go there. Am I always gonna tell this type of dark story? No, but I'm willing to add something new to my
Yeah,
writing repertoire and show people that I can write with the best and I can write anywhere. So I was
yeah.
gonna ask you that. What do you want people to know about you from this film?
I want them to know that I could always step out my comfort zone. I want them to know that okay, Q can do thriller. He can write a good detective script. He can get into detective character great. I want them to know that hey, I need to see more from him because he did his thing with that. I want to leave. That's what I was doing with the killer. I wanted to leave like a good like a review from people like saying like, damn, Q, you can do more of these because the way you wrote it, the way you directed it, the way you acted in it. So I definitely want to leave it to that way with people. So that's definitely my answer to that. I definitely want them to
100%.
say Q could dig into more of this if he wanted to, and I can because I love thriller now. So that's kind of like my thing.
Once again, both our films that released in the same week kind of have the same
Same week.
have the
Oh, that's
same
crazy.
motivation behind them. That's crazy. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Oh
I
no,
appreciate
you're
you being on
good.
here. One more time, can you tell people where they can find you at?
You can find me on Q the Actor on Instagram. My YouTube channel is Q Actor 24, and find all my stuff on YouTube. My Instagram, I kind of have been posting a lot, but I'm going back to now because I've been focused on working on these projects I got coming up. So, but you can definitely find me on Q the Actor 24 on Instagram, and my YouTube is Q Actor 24. Boom.
Awesome. Yeah, and I can't wait for the next interview because you're probably going to hop on here with us with whoever we interview. I don't know yet, so
Oh
you
yeah,
can.
I can't wait.
No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I appreciate you again. Um, and yeah, I can't wait to work with you again on something. I know we got some projects. We got some big things that we're working
Some
on
big
together
things.
that we can't really
Some
talk
big
about right
things.
now.
Yeah, you gotta keep that. Yeah, but it's coming.
But yeah, I appreciate you. Praying for you, brother. Stay blessed up.
You too.